Today, we are at the Manitoba Museum looking for some inspiration. We are hoping to discover the most important parts of Aboriginal society. As we traveled through the exhibits, there was one invention that really stuck with us. The Birchbark Canoe encompasses beauty and efficiency. As we began to learn more about them, we were shocked at how truly magnificent these canoes were.
In the history of watercraft, the canoe is the ultimate expression of elegance and function. All its parts come from nature, and when it is retired, it returns to nature. The Birchbark Canoe was a revolutionary style of transportation that allowed the First Nations to easily maneuver the treacherous Canadian landscape. European boats were unsuitable for maneuvering around Canada's lakes, rivers, and streams. During the 17th century, European boats were all developed on the principle of paddling. Boats required dozens of men to paddle the boats. Men would be seated facing the opposite direction they wanted to travel in. This type of transportation posed a number of issues in North America. The rivers in North America were often curvy, fast-flowing, and contained rapids and rocks, which could wreak havoc on boats. The ability to see what was up ahead was essential. When Aboriginal groups were hunting animals during water crossing, they needed to use the element of surprise, which wouldn't have been possible with a backward-facing canoe. Every Aboriginal tribe had its own unique spin on the Birchbark Canoe. The materials and design of the canoe varied depending on the function, traditions, and available materials in the region. The Birchbark Canoe had a variety of functions in Aboriginal society. Birchbark canoes were used in the fur trade, for hunting, and for war. The most well-known function of the Birchbark Canoe was for transportation. Birchbark was the perfect choice to build canoes because not only was it lightweight and smooth, but it was also waterproof and resilient. As well, the birch tree was found in almost every area of Canada. The joints of the canoes were held together by the roots of the white pine, and then made waterproof by applying hot pine or spruce resin. As the commerce of early North America grew, so did the need for canoes. The fur trade became so large, in fact, that the French set up the world's first known canoe factory at Trois-Rivières, Quebec, around the year 1750. After sustained contact with Europeans, voyageurs used birchbark canoes to explore and trade in the interior of the country, and to connect fur trade supply lines with central posts. Samuel de Champlain noted the canoe's elegance and speed, and remarked that it was the only craft suitable for navigation in Canada. Many of the canoes that fur traders used were capable of carrying a crew of up to 12 people and a cargo weighing around 2,400 kilograms. Trade routes ran across Canada connecting different areas for mutually beneficial trade. Before the fur trade, different tribes traded goods that were not found in their specific area. For example, a common route that connected Western Ontario to Winnipeg would have gone through the Whiteshell. Aboriginal tribes would have passed through Rainy River to Lake of the Woods. From there, the people would have used the Winnipeg River to travel to Lake Winnipeg. This route includes 26 portages from start to finish. The Birchbark Canoe was a lightweight watercraft that allowed it to be easily carried across land during long portages. The Forks was a prominent meeting place. The joining of the Red and the Assiniboine rivers allowed for easy access from all directions. Aboriginal people used the Forks as a trading hub for thousands of years. During the 1700s, the Forks also became a trading post for furs and other goods. Artifacts have been found in the Forks area from the Nakota, Cree, Anishinaabe, and Sioux. This spot was a transcontinental trade link, accessible across Canada by the use of the Birchbark Canoe. In Ontario, one of the lasting visible landmarks that can still be seen from previous trade routes is the presence of oak tree bluffs. Oak trees are not typically found in the Canadian Shield. These bluffs would have grown from acorns traded by the people of the prairies. Many oak bluff clusters are situated on sheltered, southern parts of islands in Ontario, facing outwards toward large stretches of open lake. The placement of these bluffs show campsites that would have been used when weather would not permit travel across large open water. The map shows the placement of oak trees around the Manitou, on Shoal Lake, Ontario. These landmarks are still visible and to this day are used as a navigational tool by people living on the lake.
Learning all these amazing facts about birchbark canoes has inspired us to make one. Please watch as we guide you through making your own mini birch bark canoe. Step 1. Collect some birch bark.
Step 2. Find a solid piece of birch bark that is thick yet still pliable enough to be manipulated. Cut the birch bark into rectangles. Make sure all the edges are flat and there are no holes in the birch bark.
Step 3. Trace the outline of the canoe on the birch bark.
Step 4. Cut out the outline of your canoe.
Step 5. Soak the birch bark in warm water to make it more pliable. It should be soaked for about 5 to 10 minutes.
Step 6. Remove the birch bark from the warm water. Place it on a towel. Place rocks on all the corners to allow it to dry flat.
Step 7. Once your birch bark is dried, you're going to fold in half and clip it in the corners. Step 8. Use push pins in the sides of your canoe to assist with the next step, which will be sewing.
Step 9. Remove all the pins and start sewing from the bottom up.
Step 10. Place a willow branch on the inside of your canoe and sew it together to make it more sturdy.
Step 11. Use spruce resin to seal your canoe. Finally, we're finished. The mini birch bark canoes will serve as a memento, reminding us all the amazing things the Aboriginal people have done for Canada. Thanks for watching, and make sure to tune in next time.